Chosen one, you've been chosen for greatness. Chosen for greatness. You've always felt it, haven't you? That unspoken knowing, that invisible pull on your spirit. In the quiet of the night, when the world dims and everything slows down, there's a whisper that echoes inside you. You were not made for the ordinary, and that's because you weren't. You've been chosen for greatness, set apart, marked by destiny. While others were chasing trends, you were being sculpted by silence. While they were applauded, you were being anointed. The light that lives in you has been waiting for this exact moment. It's not random. It's not a coincidence. This is divine orchestration. Before we go deeper, I want you to pause and recognize how powerful your presence is. You didn't find this video by chance. Something greater brought you here. I ask you now to watch until the very end. Stay through the message. Soak it in. Let it activate something eternal inside you. If you feel it, write in the comments your warmest wishes, your sacred numbers, 99 and 777, and subscribe to this glory journey. You're not just here to listen. You're here to remember who you really are. Chosen one, let this sink in. The greatness you carry has been hidden for a reason. Hidden so it wouldn't be tainted by the noise of the world. Hidden so it could be purified in the fire of delay, of rejection, of silence. You've watched others rise before you. You've watched doors open for those who doubted you, misunderstood you, and even mocked you. But none of that was a loss. It was preparation. Greatness never announces itself early. It enters when everything else has been stripped away. And now, that time has come. The unveiling begins. You didn't walk through those shadows in vain. The heartbreak, the confusion, the betrayals, all of it was part of the sculpting. Greatness doesn't bloom in comfort. It is born through pressure, through crushing, through sacred isolation. You have been pressed by life so you could pour out oil, rare, fragrant, powerful oil. You're not broken, you're branded. You're not forgotten, you've been reserved. And now the world is about to witness what heaven already confirmed. You are chosen for greatness. Look around you. The shift has already started. The signs are everywhere. People you once leaned on have disappeared. The places you used to fit in feel tight, almost suffocating. That's not rejection. That's realignment. Life is removing anything that cannot handle your next elevation. Because where you're going, average won't survive. Where you're going, comfort won't follow. Greatness requires clarity, solitude, and fierce faith. And yes, it's been lonely. Sometimes it's felt like walking through a desert with no map, no voice, no sign. But your steps were not aimless. They were directed by a higher rhythm. What felt like a delay was actually divine timing, adjusting everything for your emergence. And now that emergence is near, no more hiding, no more shrinking, no more dimming your light to make others feel comfortable. It's time to radiate, fully and unapologetically. You've always had something about you, that unexplainable spark, that untouchable spirit. Even when you didn't see it, others did, and some feared it. That's why they tried to silence you, minimize you, distract you. But chosen one, your essence can't be erased. Your purpose can't be paused. Your greatness can't be contained. The very breath inside you carries the blueprint of something this world has never seen before. And it's time for it to be revealed. So let them talk, let them question, let them doubt. They won't be able to deny what's about to rise from you. The same people who overlooked you will have to watch you overflow. The same ones who left you will hear your name echo through the places they thought you'd never reach. And you won't need to chase validation, applause, or approval. When you're chosen, elevation comes naturally. When you're chosen, the universe clears the path. When you're chosen, greatness isn't something you do, it's something you are. The pressure you've felt lately isn't punishment, it's proof. Proof that your time is close, proof that something massive is shifting, proof that your spirit is expanding faster than your surroundings can keep up. That internal fire, that urgency, that deep hunger you feel, it's not anxiety, it's alignment, it's destiny knocking. And this time, it won't be denied. You've waited long enough, you've doubted long enough, you've questioned yourself long enough. Now it's time to trust what's been placed inside you. Everything that happened to you is now happening for you. Every delay is turning into delivery. Every no is making space for a louder yes. Every ending is birthing a divine beginning. The cycle has turned, the gears have shifted, and you, chosen one, are stepping into a greatness that's not based on status, but on spirit. Not based on noise, but on divine knowing. Not based on force, but on flow. You won't need to hustle the way you used to. Your energy will now attract what your efforts used to chase. Your presence will speak louder than your past. Your peace will be your power. And your purpose, the one that was whispered into your soul long before anyone knew your name, will now become visible, unstoppable, and undeniable. This is not about ego. It's about essence. It's not about being better than anyone else. It's about becoming all of who you were called to be. Your greatness doesn't take from others. It gives. It doesn't shine to blind. It shines to light the path for others still walking in the dark. You were chosen not just to rise, but to awaken, to activate others by simply being yourself. You are the permission they've been waiting for, the proof that greatness can rise from pain, from silence, from nowhere. And now, the world will know. You were chosen, and the time to hide is over. Chosen one, now that you're awakening to the truth of who you are, you're also realizing how much has tried to silence your power. From a young age, the world has tried to convince you that you were too much, too sensitive, too intense, too different. But what they saw as too much was simply unrecognized greatness. They didn't know how to name it, so they tried to tame it. They didn't understand it, so they tried to reshape it. But no matter how much you tried to shrink or shift or silence yourself to fit in, something inside you always remained untamed. That fire, that force, that something you could never quite put into words. That's greatness, chosen one, and it's finally taking form. You see, greatness doesn't look like what the world glorifies. It's not loud, arrogant, or showy. Real greatness is forged in the quiet. It's the courage to keep going when no one is watching. It's the strength to speak truth when your voice shakes. It's the grace to stay soft when life hardens around you. Greatness is not in the performance, it's in the perseverance. It's not in the spotlight, it's in the shadows you endured until now. And make no mistake, every shadow you walked through was storing up the light you're now about to shine. So many people only see the rise. They see the confidence, the glow, the clarity, but they don't see the parts of you that bled for this. They don't see the nights you cried out for a sign, the days you questioned your worth, the moments you almost gave up. But the universe did, and the universe has been keeping score. That's why this next chapter isn't based on luck, it's based on alignment. You're being elevated not because of what others see, but because of what you survived. You weren't just waiting, you were becoming. You weren't just stuck, you were being shaped. Every season, that felt like delay was really divine design. You didn't lose your way. You were being rerouted, refined, and recalibrated to a frequency only the chosen could hear. And now, that signal is clear. You can feel it, can't you? That inner pull, that inner permission, that quiet certainty that you don't need to prove anything anymore. You just need to be, because your being carries the blueprint. Your very breath carries the code. And now, chosen one, it's time to walk differently. No more asking for directions from people who've never been where you're going. No more giving access to those who only drain your light. This next season of greatness requires sacred boundaries. You must protect your frequency like your life depends on it. Because it does. Your energy is sacred currency. Not everyone can afford it, and not everyone deserves it. You are not here to convince the doubters. You're here to activate the ready. Your purpose will never require performance, only presence. So let go of the need to explain yourself. Your growth is your explanation. Your evolution is the only proof you need. Those who see you now and feel threatened by your expansion are not your responsibility. Let them misunderstand. Let them mislabel. Their perception cannot touch your purpose. And yes, higher ground can feel lonely. But that loneliness is sacred. It's not emptiness, it's expansion. You're making room for the new, for the aligned, for the divine. You're shedding the noise, the need, the numbness. And in its place, you're finding clarity, purpose, power. You're learning that you don't need to hustle to be worthy. You don't need to chase what's already yours. You don't need to shout to be heard by the right people. The ones assigned to your greatness will recognize you by your energy, not your effort. Your glow will speak the language only they understand. So now it's time. Time to take up space. Time to stop apologizing for your anointing. Time to stop second-guessing the vision that's been planted in your soul. That vision is not random. That fire you feel, it's the proof that something is near, something holy, something massive, something irreversible. And it doesn't come from outside validation. It doesn't require the world's approval. It only requires your yes. Say yes to your greatness. Say yes to your calling. Say yes to the version of you that was always meant to rise. Because here's the truth. Greatness isn't coming. It's already in you. You're not becoming it. You've always been it. The only thing that's changing now is your awareness. You're waking up to what's been waiting inside you all along. You're stepping into alignment, into remembrance, into embodiment. No more playing small, no more dimming to fit, no more silence just to keep the peace. Peace without authenticity is just quiet suffering. You weren't born for that. You were born to lead, to rise, to shift atmospheres just by being present. You were born to walk into rooms and change the temperature, not by force, but by being you, fully, fiercely, freely. Chosen one, the time for hiding has expired. The time for hesitation is over. The universe is calling. And this time, you are ready. You've entered the realm where destiny no longer knocks, it walks with you. No longer are you reaching for what you already carry. You're realizing that greatness isn't something to earn, it's something to release. And what's been buried inside of you is starting to rise to the surface, unapologetically, undeniably, and divinely. The world is not prepared for this version of you because this version isn't reacting, it's remembering. There's a fire within you now that refuses to go out. It's not just ambition, it's alignment. You're not chasing validation, you're creating vibration. You're no longer looking for doors to open. You're becoming the threshold itself. And the people around you are beginning to notice. Even if they don't say it, they feel it. You're different now. You move differently. You speak with more clarity. You walk with more conviction. That's the weight of greatness settling into your bones. Everything in your life is shifting to make room for this next dimension. That's why the old habits are breaking. That's why certain friendships are fading. That's why what once satisfied you now feels hollow. Greatness comes with spiritual growing pains. But those pains are proof that your soul is outgrowing the container it was once confined to. You can no longer live inside the limits others accepted for themselves. You've been chosen to expand, to exceed, to evolve beyond the rules that were never meant for you. You are no longer here to entertain the illusions. You are here to embody the truth. You've gone through a spiritual initiation, whether you knew it or not. The loneliness, the confusion, the losses, the divine detours, all of it was an initiation into your power. You thought you were being buried, but you were being planted. And now, you're blooming in soil soaked with lessons, clarity, and sacred resilience. You've seen enough to know that not everything that falls apart is a curse. Sometimes it's a cue to rise, and rise you shall. The light inside of you was never meant to be manageable. It was meant to be magnetic. That's why people are drawn to you and don't know why. That's why some try to compete with you before they even understand you. That's why others walk away without explanation. They were never meant to go where you're going. Greatness doesn't invite the crowd. It filters it. It reveals who can rise with you and who must release you. Let them go, chosen one. Let what's leaving leave. You're not here to drag people into your destiny. You're here to walk in it boldly, and those meant to walk beside you will align with you. Not through force, but through frequency. They will recognize your soul by how it speaks without words. That's how sacred your calling is. That's how real your power is. You're beginning to understand something now. Your energy is expensive. It's not to be offered freely to anyone who doesn't honor it. You're realizing that not every conversation deserves your voice. Not every conflict deserves your peace. And not every opportunity deserves your yes. You've been chosen, which means your discernment must be sacred. You don't move fast. You move purposefully. You don't respond emotionally. You respond with presence. You don't chase. You attract. And what's coming toward you now is not just a blessing. It's a reflection of everything you've silently built, everything you've endured, everything you've refined. It's the universe saying, now is the time. You were faithful when no one was watching. You stayed standing when no one clapped. And because of that, you're about to walk into rooms your name has already been whispered in. Doors are about to swing open, not because of who you know, but because of who you are. So prepare yourself, not for a performance, but for possession. You're not performing for your blessings anymore. You're claiming what's already been marked with your name. And when it shows up, you won't feel surprised. You'll feel aligned. Because deep down, you always knew this was coming. You didn't know how. You didn't know when. But you always knew. This next season won't require a new identity. It will require deeper authenticity. Not a new image, but a higher frequency. You're not being called to reinvent. You're being called to reveal. You've spent years becoming what you thought the world needed. Now it's time to become what your soul remembers. The greatness you carry was never taught. It was always in you. This is not new. This is ancient. This is coded in your spirit. And now that you've remembered, you can no longer pretend to be asleep. Everything around you will start shifting because you're no longer agreeing with smallness. And when you stop agreeing with limitation, you start living in liberation. That's what this is. Liberation. Not from people or jobs or places, but from the belief that you ever needed to be anything but you, to be powerful. You are enough. You've always been enough. And your greatness is not in some far-off future. It's in every present moment where you choose yourself, where you choose truth, where you choose peace over performance, grace over grind, alignment over approval. This is the path of the chosen, and you're walking it now, in power, in presence, and in purpose. Chosen one, the world is no longer the same because you are no longer the same. You've stepped through an invisible threshold, one that not many talk about, because not many ever walk it. But you did. You crossed through the valley of inner conflict and came out clearer. You faced the void and didn't run. You sat in your own silence and listened long enough to hear your soul whisper, "This is not the end. This is the elevation." The greatness inside you has stopped waiting for the perfect time. There is no perfect time. There is only now. And now is where your power lives. It's where your choice exists. It's where your alignment takes form. Every moment you decide to honor your becoming, your path expands. And every moment you doubt it, it waits patiently, lovingly, silently, until you're ready again. Because that's how chosen ones rise. Not in a straight line, but in spirals, in echoes, in remembering, forgetting, and remembering again, until finally, they stay awake. You're staying awake now. You're no longer negotiating with your fear. You're no longer bargaining with your gift. You're no longer asking permission to exist in your full light. You are your own permission. And now you move from that space, from that power, from that holy remembrance of who you are and why you came. Your soul didn't choose the easy road. It chose the necessary one. It chose the deep path, the one carved through pain, transformed through isolation, and lit through divine insight. That's why you always felt different, because you are, and not in a way that separates you, in a way that awakens others. Your greatness is not for display, it's for activation. Every room you enter becomes different because of what lives inside you. You are a mirror for what others have forgotten in themselves. You are a reminder of what's possible when someone refuses to fold. You are a living, breathing example that greatness doesn't always come loud. Sometimes it comes slow, steady, and sacred, like you. You don't have to announce your elevation. Your energy will speak it for you. That's what happens when you're chosen. You shift the space simply by being in it. You attract what's meant for you simply by standing in your truth. You awaken others simply by choosing to no longer abandon yourself. And yes, this path will cost you. It will cost you comfort, shallow approval, the need to be understood. But what you gain is clarity, freedom, real peace, the kind of peace that can't be explained, only embodied. You'll walk differently, not because you're better, but because you're clearer. You'll love differently, not because you need to be needed, but because your love will overflow from wholeness, not lack. You'll stop fighting to be seen. You'll realize that those who are meant to see you already do. And as you continue to rise, don't be surprised when the noise around you gets louder. It will, but not because you're doing something wrong. It's because you're doing something right. Your elevation is a disruption to everything that feeds on insecurity, conformity, and control. When you refuse to shrink, you expose the places where others still do. But that's not your burden. That's their invitation. You're not here to convince. You're here to live. Fully, loudly, truthfully. And in doing so, you give others the courage to do the same. Greatness, chosen one, requires stewardship. It requires you to take care of the gift you've been entrusted with. Not hoard it, not perform it, but honor it. This means taking care of your energy, guarding your peace like sacred ground, moving from inner instruction instead of outer demand, saying no when something is misaligned, even if it looks good on paper, saying yes to what feels right in your spirit, even when it doesn't make sense to the world. Because the truth is, the world doesn't need more sense, it needs more soul. And you, chosen one, carry soul in everything you touch. You carry a frequency that cracks open stagnant places, that breaks old paradigms, that softens hard hearts. You are a walking awakening. You don't even need to try. Your presence does the work, but you must own it, fully, fearlessly, fiercely. This is no longer the season for hesitation. This is the era of embodiment, the time when you stop preparing and start presenting. Not to the world, to yourself. You've prepared long enough. You've healed long enough. You've studied, doubted, refined, grieved, surrendered. And now, it's time to rise into what all of that has prepared you for. There is no stage, no spotlight, no applause necessary. Your greatness isn't waiting to be seen. It's waiting to be lived. So live it. Wake up each day and choose to be fully present in your body, your breath, your mission. Walk like the future has already bowed in your direction, because it has. Speak like your voice creates worlds, because it does. Move like the path is rising to meet your feet, because it is. You are not here to figure everything out. You're here to remember what's already within. You are not here to mimic anyone else. You're here to manifest your own divine code. You are not here to prove your worth. You're here to radiate it. Everything you need, you already carry. Every answer, every next step, every miracle, it lives inside you. And now, it's time for the world to see it. Chosen one, now that you've stepped into this realm of remembrance, there's no going back. You can no longer unsee what's been revealed to you. You can't shrink into what you've outgrown. You can't unknow the frequency of truth you now live in. And that's exactly how it's supposed to be. Greatness doesn't come with comfort. It comes with clarity. And clarity demands change. Your entire life has been preparing you for this moment. Not just the highlights, but the heartbreaks. The cracks in your spirit were not signs of weakness. They were entry points for light. They made you softer, stronger, wiser, deeper. You've touched the bottom and found gold there. You've faced your shadows and turned them into sacred teachers. You've stared at your wounds until they became wisdom. And now, all of that is rising through you like thunder, wrapped in silence. You were never broken. You were being broken open. You were not losing. You were being led. You were not behind. You were being held in divine delay, so that when you arrived, you would arrive in full power, not partial presence. The world needs your fullness now. You don't need to have it all figured out. What you need is to show up, each day, each moment, with devotion, with discipline, with the quiet roar of someone who's been chosen and knows it. You don't need to shout it. Your life will say it. Your walk, your eyes, your alignment, your resilience, your peace, they will speak louder than any title, label, or platform ever could. And what's unfolding now is not just for you. It's for everything connected to you. Your greatness is generational. Your healing will ripple through timelines. Your decisions will echo in places your feet will never touch. This is deeper than you, but it starts with you. When you choose to live in your light, you unlock others who are waiting to believe in their own. Don't underestimate how powerful that is. The very act of your becoming is an act of liberation for others. This is why the process had to take so long. It wasn't just about you becoming strong. It was about you becoming true. Every delay was building roots. Every silence was sculpting substance. Every moment of being unseen was increasing your internal capacity. Because greatness doesn't just elevate you, it sustains you. And if your character can't hold your calling, the blessing will feel like a burden. But now, you're ready. Not perfect, but ready. And being ready isn't about confidence. It's about willingness. Willing to step, willing to trust, willing to act, even when the outcome is unclear. That's faith. That's alignment. That's how chosen ones move. From deep within, not by sight, but by vibration. You are now living in harmony with your divine assignment, and everything that flows to you from this point on will be a mirror of that internal truth. Your relationships will change, not because you've become difficult, but because you've become honest. Your routines will shift, not because you're abandoning discipline, but because you're aligning with deeper priorities. Your energy will be guarded, not out of fear, but out of reverence. You are not hard to love. You just refuse to tolerate what dishonors your spirit. You are not distant. You are just focused. You are not arrogant. You are finally aware. And that awareness changes everything. You'll start hearing things others can't, seeing things others miss, moving in ways that feel strange to the mind, but make perfect sense to your soul. This is how greatness guides, subtly, surely, silently. Until one day, you look around and realize, I'm not the same. Not because you tried to become someone new, but because you chose to return to who you've always been. This isn't evolution. This is revelation. The unveiling. The homecoming. The moment when everything the world tried to bury finally blooms in sacred defiance. The part of you that once needed applause now only needs alignment. The part of you that once chased purpose now simply embodies it. The part of you that once waited to be picked now walks like you are the answer. Because you are. And even as you rise, you remain grounded. Because you know this greatness isn't just about being seen. It's about being sent. You carry something divine. Not everyone will understand it. Not everyone will value it. But the right ones, the aligned ones, will recognize it instantly. You won't have to explain yourself. Your frequency will be enough. You are no longer trying to fit into the world. You are now shaping it with your presence. The more you embody this truth, the more natural it feels. You stop second-guessing. You stop shrinking. You stop overthinking. And you start living fully, freely, fiercely. Not to prove a point, but to fulfill a purpose. You start honoring your body, respecting your intuition, following your inner compass with sacred discipline. Not because it's easy, but because it's real. And real is what you were made for. You were not chosen for surface success. You were chosen for substance, for the kind of presence that shifts things, that awakens something dormant in others, that makes people feel safe to rise to. That's the weight of greatness. It's not about climbing to the top. It's about becoming so rooted that everything that once shook you now fuels you. You are becoming unshakable because you are becoming you. Chosen one, if you've made it this far, you already know. This is not just a message. It's a mirror, a reflection of what has always lived inside you, waiting patiently for you to notice it, waiting for you to stop doubting your power, stop negotiating your light, Stop hiding behind false humility and diluted truths. This moment, this message, this vibration, it's not about awakening something new. It's about unlocking something ancient, something eternal, something that never left you, even in your darkest hour. The greatness you carry has walked with you through it all. The silence, the storms, the setbacks, the betrayals. It didn't disappear when you were broken. It stayed quiet, waiting for you to become strong enough to hold it. And now, here you are, holding it, owning it, not out of ego, but out of reverence. Because now you understand, this isn't just about destiny, it's about responsibility. You are responsible for the light you carry. You are responsible for the room your presence shifts. You are responsible for the truth your voice delivers. Not everyone can hold what you hold. Not everyone can hear what you hear. That's why your path has been different. That's why your process felt longer. That's why the battles you fought made no sense to others. Because you were being shaped to carry something sacred. Not for clout, not for fame, but for impact, for legacy, for transformation. You were not chosen to be liked. You were chosen to be light. You were not chosen to fit in. You were chosen to break patterns. You were not chosen to impress. You were chosen to heal generations with your truth. Let the world misunderstand you. Let them question your rise. Let them whisper and wonder and watch. None of it can stop what's unfolding now. You are beyond explanation. You are beyond limitation. You are beyond expectation. Because what's guiding you now isn't logic. It's divine alignment. You're not here to convince. You're here to command with presence, with peace, with purpose. Everything around you is going to start responding differently because you're responding differently. You're no longer chasing. You're choosing. You're no longer surviving. You're thriving. You're no longer playing roles. You're living in truth. The energy you now carry is magnetic. You'll notice how things come easier, not because you've become lucky, but because you've become aligned. And alignment is the highest form of efficiency. Doors open for the aligned. People show up for the aligned. Resources flow to the aligned. And when you're aligned with your greatness, you no longer ask, will it happen? You simply know, it already is. So now, chosen one, you move differently. You breathe with intention. You speak from your center. You act from your knowing. There's no rush, because divine timing is on your side. There's no fear, because your path is protected. There's no shame, because your scars have become sacred symbols of survival. And there's no doubt, because your spirit is louder now than your mind has ever been. The universe has already confirmed it. You are the answer to prayers spoken long before your time. You are the manifestation of light wrapped in skin. You are what the world didn't see coming, and what it now cannot ignore. That's why your presence feels like prophecy. That's why your voice carries weight. That's why your movement shifts momentum. It's not that you are hiding, you are being hidden. And now, the hiding is over. You've passed the tests, you've endured the pressure, you've transcended the illusions. And now, you rise. Not as a copy, not as a product, not as a watered-down version of what others told you to be. You rise as you, as the chosen one, as the great one, as the light that could never be extinguished. This isn't just your time. This is your era. Your legacy starts here, and the world will never be the same again. And now, breathe. You've reached the edge of what you once believed was possible, and realized it was only the beginning. You've walked through every line of this message not as a listener, but as a witness to your own becoming. a witness to the silent strength within you that refused to die, a witness to the sacred truth that's always echoed inside. You were never meant to be normal. You were meant to be legendary. You didn't just survive what tried to break you. You transmuted it. You alchemized pain into purpose, doubt into discipline, silence into sound. And now the world doesn't just hear you, it feels you. This moment, this frequency, this alignment, it's not something you stumbled upon. It's something you were summoned into. Everything that left you needed to. Everything that failed freed you. Everything that confused you cracked the illusion, so you could finally see clearly, so you could finally feel fully, so you could finally become fiercely you. The world does not yet understand the gravity of your arrival, but they will, because greatness doesn't need marketing, it needs movement. And that's what you are now, a movement, a message, a mirror, a reminder that light never loses its power, even when buried, even when dimmed, even when denied. You are light in its highest form, conscious, compassionate, unstoppable. You've outgrown the patterns of fear. You've outloved the weight of the past. You've outlived the version of yourself that once waited for permission. And now you walk in your birthright. You carry the vibration of royalty, not because of ego, but because of essence. You were born crowned, born set apart, born selected. You've been trained in fire, matured in stillness, and awakened through divine orchestration. You are not late, you are not early, you are perfectly timed by the creator of timing itself. This is your confirmation. This is your thunder. This is your moment. So rise without flinching, love without limits, move without fear, speak without shrinking, and live without ever again apologizing for your existence, because the world is better with you in full power. The sky is wider with your wings stretched. The air is clearer when your truth is spoken. The universe responds when you walk like you know who you are. This is not the end of a video. It's the beginning of your greatest chapter. Now go. Let them feel the shift in your footsteps. Let them